allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Board Member Drake.
Here.
Board Member Nysel.
Here.
Board Member Steen.
Here.
Board Member Van Blarkum.
Here.
Supervisor DeSclafani.
Here.
I have to read the legal ad.
So we're here for two public hearings. One is on alternate members for the Planning and Zoning Board, and we'll start with that one. It'll be a quick meeting.
I'll read the legal ad first.
Please read that legal.
Notice is hereby given to the Town Board of
Notice.
the Town of Shandaken will hold the public hearing pursuant to Section 20 of the Municipal Home Rule Law of the State of New York to consider and hear public comments regarding Town Law, Local Law Number 1 of 2025, allowing alternate members appointed to the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals. Said public hearing is scheduled on September 8th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. to be held at Town Hall, 7209 Route 28, Shandaken, New York. The local laws as proposed can be reviewed at shandaken.gov, public notices, or in person at Town Clerk's office during regular office hours, Monday to Friday, 9 to 3. Anyone wishing to make a comment recording local law number 1 of 2025 may do so during the public hearing. If you are unable to attend, you can send any comment you wish to be read at the hearing at townclerk@shandaken.gov or P.O. Box 134, Shandaken, New York, 12480. All such comments must be received no later than September 8th at 3 p.m.
Thank you, Joyce.
Phew. Okay.
Would anyone like to speak on,
I do have somebody that wants to speak.
okay, on local law number 1?
You know who you are, Kimberly. Kimberly, Here we go.
I'm not very good at public speaking, so bear with me. I apologize.
Please go right into the microphone. That's good.
My name is Kimberly Umhay. I'm from Phoenicia. I just wanted a clarification more of what that entails. To me, when I read it, it meant that you guys would just, whoever was not here, or when they missed 2 meetings, they would no longer be in office, and then you guys whoever would appoint somebody to it. Is that pretty much how it's? That
No,
the voters don't have a say in whatever, just the people?
Well, we're appointing somebody to be on standby for when a member is sick and can't make 3 meetings, is the state law, how that works.
Or has a conflict of interest.
Or that somebody who's on the board at the time has a conflict of interest, they're friends with the
Right.
applicant,
I
or
completely
they're a board member on their corporation.
Okay, perfect. That's.
And
I-
just for clarification, who appoints the members?
The town board appoints alternates as well as the general members
Okay.
of both boards.
So the boards don't appoint them,
No,
the town board does?
correct.
We'll appoint somebody who comes before us, and then they will go to the planning board or the ZBA meetings to stay abreast of what's going on.
How
So
will you
that
select such people?
by application, somebody coming in and applies for the position.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Open to all.
I didn't sign up. May I say something?
Of course, it's a public hearing.
My name is Hank Williams. I'm currently a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I know that an alternate might be a good idea, but having alternates, it seems to me that they're gonna have to come to every meeting that we have. They'll have to sit through it, so they're well informed about what's going on. And as I read it, it says that if you're out for 2 meetings, then the alternate comes in?
If somebody is out for 2 meetings and or 3 meetings, and they're, so to speak, AWOL, and they haven't called anybody to let them know that they're ill, all that, then the alternate will come in and fill that position. But if somebody, is sick and they let us know, yes, then the alternate on the third meeting, the alternate can sit in.
So that means that the meetings prior, when an individual isn't there, for
Yeah.
whatever reason,
Yeah,
that an alternate will not fill in immediately. It'll have
correct.
to be like 2 consecutive misses before an alternate. Would-
correct.
Okay, thank you.
That's, I don't think that's in the code, but that's state code.
Which is not part of ours, okay.
raise Pete's mic a little.
Raise the mic. The
Just
microphone.
raise it a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. All right. No one else wants to speak on alternates? Will I make a motion, we close that?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Make a motion, we open the next public hearing on the
Has
telecommunications
everybody
law.
signed in that wants
Please.
to speak? Speak now, forever? No, I'll do a list. I got a list, I'll do it in order, okay? Is that all right? Unless you want to go first.
Would you read, Joyce, the
Oh,
public notice
yeah, the
first?
public notice, sorry. Notice is hereby given the town board of the town of Shandaken will hold a public hearing pursuant to section 20 of the municipal home rule law of the state of New York to consider and hear public comments regarding town law number 2 of 2025, amending the town telecommunications facilities code, section 116, article 9A. Said public hearing is scheduled for September 8th at 2025 at 6:45 to be held at Town Shandaken Town Hall, 7209 State Route 28, Shandaken, New York. The local law as proposed can be reviewed at shandaken.gov, public notices, or in person at the town clerk's office during regular hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. Anyone wishing to make a comment regarding this local law too may do so during the public hearing. If you are unable to attend, you can send comments you would like to read during the hearing to town clerk at shandaken.gov or to P.O. Box 134, Shandaken, New York, 12480. All such comments will be received no later than September 8th at 3 p.m.
Thank you, Joyce.
Did you
Okay.
want to make a statement before we start? Any of you?
No, this is an amendment to our law, our telecommunications law. Essentially, the idea of it is to raise the height from 180 feet to 199 feet. That's what this is about, basically. And our current code has language in the law that states the fall zone should be the height of the tower, and we're basically talking about eliminating that part of the code and following the town of Olive's code, basically. Yeah, anything you want to add?
I think it may be worth providing a hair of, I suppose, summary of sort of situation to date, because,
Yeah.
sorry, thank you. Hello, everyone. So, perhaps better, yes. So, obviously, what is before us right now is ostensibly a change to a small bit of telecommunications code. When I say small, I mean 2 relative clauses, not small in impact. The purpose and the sort of contextual situation is, of course, that there is a project that is before the town. And it has come before the planning board on a couple of occasions. It has come before the zoning board in at least one meeting. And so the current project is twofold. And I think this is sort of an important distinction, because there is a proposal for a cell tower, and there is a proposal to increase the size of that cell tower for emergency services radio, so 2-way emergency services radio. The request related to the cell tower is below the current code's size. So the current code says 180 feet as a height maximum. And the height necessary for cell service is below 180 feet. So there is no necessary conversation at the town board level regarding the height for cell service. But there are concerns, long-standing, around emergency service radio within this town. Now, whether those concerns are equal to the negative impacts of this tower, that's a slightly separate conversation. But nevertheless, just before this meeting, for some of you who came in a little bit early, there was an hour-long presentation on flood maps. I think everyone on this town board has looked at flood maps for many years. Many of you have looked at flood maps for many years. I think nearly everyone in this town has lived through floods. We know that flooding is an issue within this town. And there have been reports, documented and anecdotal, that there are emergency communications challenges during emergency events, during flood events. That's a known issue. And communications that I have heard from fire department individuals and from many people at the county is that this is a critical issue in our area, that emergency services is a critical challenge. And so the proposal here is to change the code such that a tower could be built to the height necessary for emergency services radio. Now, again, I think there's a necessary clarification here because that is not approval of this project. That is a separate board. That will ultimately go through the planning board, the quote unquote, the cell tower section of this pitched by Verizon in partnership with a local landowner. That will ultimately wind up going through the planning board, and obviously issues with, say, the survey, issues with water quality, all of the normal issues associated with site plan review will ultimately go in front of that board. But as far as emergency services radio, this hopefully clarifies that situation, that if that tower is ultimately approved, that it could be done so to a height necessary for emergency services radio. Now, I have been working on this project myself for, I think, roughly 3 years or so, and we have gone through a number of locations. And unfortunately, when it comes to siting these things, there are a lot of challenges. Primarily, of course, the locations of mountains, in some cases the grade, in some cases water, in some cases what you need to connect to. When it comes to cell service, it's at least relatively clear-cut. A useful cell tower needs to cover 28 and it needs to cover Phoenicia. Now there's dozens of locations that might hit those qualifications. When it comes to providing emergency services radio, where you plausibly need to also be able to connect with the emergency tower that I believe is on Mount Tonchi, if I am correct, as well as those that are on Pine Hill and Bel Air, that siting becomes immeasurably more challenging. Hopefully that provides at least a little bit of clarity of at least why this is a conversation in front of the town board. It is not merely a conversation about attempting to locate a cell tower. It is attempting to find a plausible location for an emergency services tower in addition to cell service. And that makes it a huge challenge, and I would thank everyone for their time and their forbearance. Part of the reason we wanted this to be in front of the town board is so that everyone could be involved in that conversation. This is ultimately probably going to decide in many ways the impact. This will impact the town, regardless of where this project goes, for decades, right? There aren't a lot of alternatives. This will have a major impact for decades. Hopefully that provides a little bit of utility and I didn't miss anything overly meaningful.
I think you missed a lot because I think.
Okay, public comment time? All right?
Yes. Please, yeah.
Yeah, Sammy, why don't you speak first? I
Come
know
on
you're
up.
standing, you might as well go.
I think you're failing to.
Into the microphone, please.
I think you're
3
failing
minutes.
to say that this amendment is reducing the distance to residents' homes, property lines, and everything else. Because as it stands now, the height of the tower has to be from all surrounding property lines. It has to be that distance. So in fact, as I understand, this amendment is going to allow, and I believe it's Mr. Scott was the one that his distance that he gave in the last meeting was 100 feet, that he felt that if it's 199 feet, it can be 100 feet from property lines, dwellings, as it's written for pedestrians or wherever. So this opens a very big avenue throughout the whole town, and honestly, this is making a site specific for my condition itself. And I just want everybody to know that that's on this petition, that I'm not opposed to a cell tower at all. I'm very much in to deny 911 services for anybody out there. We're all for that. There's other sites available. There's 2 other people here that are willing to stand up with properties, and because county wants to put 1 tower in because they don't want to spend the money to put a couple in, I don't think that's right, because I don't think money is an issue here. I think there's another site that's available that a gentleman here is willing to offer today that is of higher altitude, it's better, it's non-residential, and if county did something on the in-between, I think it could fix all the problems that are going on here that is at hand right now and why the crowd of people's here.
Thank you, Stan.
This drastically reduces the distance of people's homes.
Alan Flegel?
Hi, my name's Al Flegel, and I live in Phoenicia, across from the railroad station here. And I got a letter saying that I had a sign for it, that the tower's going up. And so I wrote in saying I'm for the tower. I like it. I looked at the map and I saw on top there's like 33 acres. And I just looked at it. I didn't know that anyone's living or anything. I thought it was just not a big deal. And you want it. But I became aware that Sam lives up there and it's going to block his view is what I think. And when we moved here in '87, the politics was there ain't no law west of Shandaken. And what I thought that meant is that we all will watch out for each other and do things for each other. Now, I'm for the tower, but I don't want, we have so much land here that I like it to be somewhere where no one's put out by it, if that can be done. That's all.
Thank you.
Hang on, it's about the height, right? Bob Cross?
The first thing that I'd like to make perfectly clear, I'm a proponent to the 911 service. I fought for it when I was here, and I believe in it. But there are other sites that would offer you the ability to put 911 up and not have to go anywhere as near as high. And I have one such property that I'm a part owner on. And we're willing to offer that to the county. The county had looked at it. We had a problem with clarification. There's a covenant. It's in the covenant on the property. It says telecommunication towers. That is not 911. We got that from the gentleman that wrote it. He's willing to send a letter to that effect. I know it tied it up for a while, but I do know the county looked at it. What our property offers is the 214 corridor all the way up. Woodland Valley, Panther Kill, places that they cannot get to off of that area because Romer Mountain blocks it and the place that we own blocks it. Those two stop a large, significant portion of the town of Shandaken. Just because you're putting up a tower doesn't mean everybody's going to have service. We know we can't reach all these hollows and valleys. It's impossible because of the configuration of the mountains here. I went through floods. Hopefully you never have to go through the ones that we went through when I was in, and we don't want them again. But it's a scary thing, and 911 is much needed. But I really feel that you don't need to put this law in. I'm against the law to go to 199, 1 foot below the FAA regulation. You know, you're pretty much playing with dynamite, but to matches in one hand, dynamite sticks in the other. Just make sure we don't touch them. Who's going to be the police agency? You're going to believe people's words. But we have a piece of property to offer. The next property to the west that's owned by the Byer family is, I think, even better. We have all this state land. None of this state land, nobody in the state government, Terry, I took this from you, don't want to go there. They're never going to fight you with this if we put for 911 services. It's like I tried to find me help with things because of religious entities that were doing things that did not conform. There's not a politician in this entire state that will do anything against that, and I know why. And it's the same way it would be with 911.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you for your time.
Next up.
Harry Jameson?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Spent a lot of time at this town hall, but not lately, so it's good to be back. I've been aware of the application for the cell tower, and I've talked to Sam about it. I've reviewed the application, and I also am in the understanding that the ZBA has denied the application as well. Public service and necessity is something that benefits us all. But in this case, I think it's not appropriate to change the law for one specific cell tower project. So with that said, I agree with Bob. I think there's other locations that could be looked at that would be less intrusive to our neighbor. I also think that, you know, I mean, it's a lot of time going by since cell service came into creation, but the state owns a lot of property that we could put cell towers on, and some of it's not further wild, some of it's wild forest. And I'm sure, to reiterate Bob's comment, that if the state were petitioned, I don't see how they could deny it. We live in a park, and that park needs protection. Aside from that, having spent a lot of time in this town hall, I was on a committee in 1994 called the Resource Protection and Economic Development Strategy for Route 28 Corridor. This comprised town of Shandaken and the town of Middletown. And basically was just a compilation of what things could be, what we needed to protect and what things could be done to help enhance our town and our economy. And one of the things in here that rings is that Route 28 visibility and scenery is impeccable. It needs to be protected. I will also refer to the Comprehensive Planning Committee document of 2005, of which I sat on this committee as well. And numerous times throughout the document and the surveys that were done to all of the people who live in Shandaken, it was mentioned over and over again that the main priority in our town was to maintain the scenic vistas of Route 28. I believe this tower will be very obvious when you're coming down Route 28. So aside from ruining our scenic vistas, I think we should protect our property rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. Next.
Stephen Mancinelli?
Good evening. My name's Stephen Mancinelli. I and my wife and I own the property right next door to the Schultes property where one of the towers is, I believe, sited to go on. I don't have an objection to a cell tower or emergency services. My concern is with these amendments. One, increasing the tower to 199 feet, which is going to stick way up over the trees. It's going to be visible from my home and my property. And I'm particularly concerned about the amendment about the setback. Basically, it seems to give the discretion of the developer to put the base wherever they deem it's feasible, as long as it's within 199 feet of the property line. Excuse me. Well, my home is close to the property line, the Schultes property line, which means that this tower could be sited very close to my home. I'm concerned about the EMF issues with the tower close to my home, the unsightliness no close to my home, the devaluation of my property with that tower nearby. I'm not opposed to the tower going on where it presently is sited, but if you want to gain elevation, the developer's going to have to put a road through the woods there anyways. Why don't you go up the hill a little further and gain some more altitude on the hill itself? And you'll take it further away from residences. But I'm particularly concerned about the amendment here that could give the developer discretion to move the base way too close to my home, just because they deem it feasible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hank Williams?
Again, my name is Hank Williams. I'm a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I did author a letter that came out of the Zoning Board of Appeals that was supposed to be submitted with the resolution denying the variances to conform with the 1996 Telecommunications Act. However, Joyce was supposed to have a copy of that letter to read tonight, but she said that you said that it's irrelevant, that we don't need to
Well,
read the letter.
we have the letter, but if you want to read it,
Well, I was asking her to read it because I don't see that it's,
okay.
and I thought that it would be like communications.
Yep.
However, as you know, the Zoning Board of Appeals denied the variances.
Right.
And if the town board and the county and Verizon thought that it was very important for this cell tower to be put exactly in that location, they would have attended our public hearings. Nobody showed up to public hearings other than a few people. The zoning board ruled on what evidence they had and what was presented to them. It seems that the very next day after our ruling, the members of the zoning board were members of the zoning board were sent letters, emails, and phone calls to rescind their vote, which I thought was unlawful. And not only that, we got emails with petitions from back in 2005, 2023, and on those petitions it said that all of these individuals wanted the cell tower. I went through the petition and it was 169 names. Out of the 169 names, only 51 of them were town residents. They were from as far away as American Samoa that wanted a tower in our town. And it seems like the residents of the town are more important, to me at least, than the tourists, visitors, and people that come hike, fish, and camp. They go home and they don't have to deal with looking at a tower. And the tower, as Harry said, is right in the scenic byway. And you'll be able to see it. And Robert Drake is our liaison to the county for the scenic byway. And he's promoting this tower in the scenic byway that he's supposed to protect. Not only that, in doing what you're doing now, this proposal to change the zoning law is exactly what Verizon requested in the beginning, 199 feet. It's not a generalization of the height of cell towers that are going to be in the town of Shandaken. It's exactly what they asked for in this particular site. They needed a 55-foot variance for the fall zone, and they needed a 20-foot height variance, and we refused it. Now they came back, and what you did was undermine our process. We have a legal process under the zoning code of the town of Shandaken and the state of New York. And by you immediately wanting to change the zoning law to benefit an entity like Verizon or even the county is unlawful. What you did was undermine our process. Verizon has a way to go forward with our denials, and that's with an Article 78 going to the state Supreme Court. And you didn't even allow them to do that or even want to say what they were going to do, because now they came back and said they can put the tower in at 165 feet. And you're saying they need no setbacks because your new law says that if there's a property 100 by 100 and the cell tower is 100 by 100, and Verizon engineers say that it's okay and it's not going to fall on anybody's property, and you, the board, who wants to change the law right now to benefit them, can say, okay, that's all right. We're not going to, we don't need a setback.
Right.
We agree with you,
Right.
and your engineers. Therefore, I think this is called spot zoning, and I think that you should take into consideration people that live here and have to look at it every day. And I'm not against cell towers. I think we really need them. And the zoning board gave you 2 other sites to look at. And one of the sites was the first site that Verizon wanted to put the tower on.
Okay.
And now they're saying it's too costly. So I would hope that you would look at this and look at it in the way we have to look at it every day. I don't know if any of you live near it, but people coming up 28 and the scenic corridor, there's nothing all the way down to Kingston. Come to Phoenicia, you're gonna be looking at a big tower. So I hope you take this into consideration.
Thank you, Hank.
Jan Jaffe?
Hi, I'm Jan Jaffe, and I live in Pine Hill. And I just want to speak to the need for an emergency tower. This conversation's been going on in the 25 years I've been here. We're going to have another flood. That's pretty inevitable. We're going to have other emergencies. I realize the town board spent the last 3 years looking for an appropriate site. I'd like to hear more about that. I'm surprised to hear that sites are popping up now, so I think it would be good to talk about that. But I just want to put in the highest priority for this. I think there's going to be some very tragic things that happen if we don't have this.
Thank you, Jan.
Angela Galindo?
Good evening, I'm Angela Galindo from Phoenicia. I just want everybody to know I'm here as a resident and not the deputy town clerk. And I promise to be professional. We need cell service. Appeared many times before this board and the zoning board. Herman and I both have cardiac devices that need connectivity to let our doctors know if something has happened to us. Mine only works on cell. If I don't work for a couple of days, something happens to me, my doctor's not gonna know until I come to work. Okay, that's that point. So I am for cell tower, but not where you're putting it. Your proposed replacement is talking about public safety. It's right here. It says, what you're saying is not gonna have any negative effects on public safety. In Verizon's letter, they state that they're going to design the tower to break at 100 feet. And that will ensure that the tower, should it fail, and it won't fall on somebody else's property. But the question is, what's the actual distance from the proposed site to the Umhay property line? The actual distance, not the approximate distance that was written down. Regarding public safety, the DEC, to my knowledge, does not permit cell towers on their land due to detrimental effects on plants and wildlife. What about people? According, what else? According to public safety, what is the pre and post testing schedule going to be to ensure compliance with FCC radiation emissions? As far as safety is concerned, isn't the industry standard at least 1,300 feet from a school, church, or residence? Again, further to safety, who's going to carry insurance for damages from long-term exposure to the radio frequency radiation? Insurance companies rank the risk as high. Public safety for children. Children are more vulnerable to radio frequency radiation. Thinner skulls that have high water content in their brain, which is more conducive to electricity, and it goes on and on. You want to look at a lot of this information, go to ehtrust.org. It's the Environmental Health Trust Organization. Again, I am for a cell tower. We all have to take care of each other. That is what Shandaken is about. We can find a better place. I
Thank you, Angela.
Kimberly Ampey?
Hello again, I'm Kimberly Onhai, Phoenicia. So I just have a couple of things. One, the 911 tower nobody has ever come to us, my husband or myself, and brought this to us. Only thing has been brought to us is a tower for Verizon. No one has ever come and said, hey guys, listen, the town needs a 911 tower put in. Is there a place on your property, or can you help us find a neighboring property, something that you guys can help us do to get such a thing to help the community? Because my husband and I would bend over backwards for this community. Sorry, I'm shaking because I'm so upset. I'm 1,000,000,000% for this tower. I've lived here my entire life, 38 years. I've raised my children here for 21 years. I'm for it. I know we need to evolve, we need to expand, we need to grow. I get it. But we don't need to grow, and we don't need to place these things where we have to live under them, where they have to depreciate the value of our property. The place where we love, the place where my children want to live forever. It's not fair. So I'm begging you, please reconsider where you're going to put this thing. Josh Byer has offered his property to have the tower put. If it's that necessary to have the communications for 911, talk to us. We're humans, we're a community. We love this community, we are here for it. It's not about the Verizon. That's what this is about, is Verizon. We don't want the Verizon tower. It has nothing to do with the 911. We know we love our people that protect this town, and we're here for them.
Thank you.
Isaiah Martin.
My name is Isaiah Martin, Shandaken resident. I'm not opposed to the towers, but I am opposed to the future of these towers from 10 years from now, when the technology gets more advanced, just like Starlink, and we have satellites above us, and we have these rusty towers sitting on the side of our mountains that we have to still look at when who's going to get rid of them, what are we going to do with them. And my biggest problem is something like this takes neighbors where neighbors should be helping neighbors, and it puts a line in the dirt, and it makes neighbors against neighbors. You know, we're a small rural community, and we should stay that and help each other. And, you know, these towers here, everybody needs them. But what do we do in the future when we still got to look at them when they're sitting on the side of our beautiful mountains rusting? That's all.
Thank you.
Glenn Ford.
Hello, my name's Glenn Ford, 65-year resident here my whole life. Yes, we need another cell tower or multiple cell towers because it's horrible. Who knows that? Like Kimberly said, I didn't know anything about this, them raising the height to actually do it for 911, which, like she said, they got property that's above where that is, that something like that could be put up on, which is fine because we need it. I don't understand why that has to be 199, but I don't know about that. So what? Well, my understanding, you want to change, this amendment is going to change so that if I put up a tower, I can put it close to my neighbor's land, and if it falls over and hits his house, because it's 190 feet and his house is 130 feet, we could do that with this amendment, correct? That's basically what it's saying. Your fall zone now doesn't have to be 190 feet.
It has to, the tower has to be engineered to fall away from any structure, any infrastructure.
That's like asking a tree not to fall in your yard.
It's different than, it's an engineered thing.
That's God. It sounds like Hank said that the zoning board already shut down that site.
They shut down,
What they
not the
proposed.
site, they shut down the height extension.
In that site.
Right.
In the close proximity to the property next door.
Yeah.
Well, I think, it seems to me, I don't know how long this has been going on. I know the 911's been working on it a lot of years. I've been a fireman for over 40. We've dealt with it for over 40 years. We get by, in a flood, it's worse. Guess what? It's going to be worse than a flood. The power went down for a week. You can't run everything on a generator. You know what I mean? So to rush into this and step on people's toes just to say, oh, we got this tower up, we got better service, and then later say, well, if we had put it on that mountain, it would have been even better yet, and it wouldn't have been stepping on toes. So just, I think a lot needs to be considered before it gets rushed into and just, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Glenn.
Declan Fian.
Hi, thanks for letting me speak. I'm from Phoenicia. I do have one thing I need clarified. I haven't kept up on this issue. Who is the owner of and the applicant for this? Is it Verizon or is it the county?
The applicant is Verizon and the county.
So who owns the tower?
Parslow?
Frank Parslow is going to own the tower?
No, owns the property.
Oh, he owns. Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who owns the tower?
Verizon owns the tower.
Okay, they're going to be the ones building it.
Yes.
Okay. I saw a photo today that Sam Umhe showed me, and it was taken, looks like from the intersection of Main Street and Bridge Street in Phoenicia, and that picture of where the supposed tower would be and how it would be viewed. It was horrendous. It stood out like a sore thumb. We have a view shed, we have the scenic byway, and this thing seems to be in absolute violation of everything that everybody in Shandaken loves. Years ago, when they wanted to have the tower here, everybody was complaining that it would have lights on it. I haven't heard whether this tower will or not. No?
That's why the 199 feet, anything over 199 needs lights.
So 1 foot. And what happens when I don't know who would be in charge of regulating lights going tower, what happens when they lower the limits to 190 feet? That tower's still well above anything else on that mountain. All right, with the number of low-flying military aircraft that fly through here on a regular basis, it's going to hit it. All right, I think this tower is ill-placed. It needs to be put somewhere else where it does not obstruct the view, and more importantly, the owners next door. That is going to devalue their property like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
That is 500-600 feet from their front door. That's what they're going to walk out to and look. The photo that I saw, which is I couldn't even half a mile away from Main Street, Phoenicia, is horrendous there. What's it going to be like when it's 500 feet out your front door? I urge the board to deny this application and have it put out to be relocated to a better location. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gail Margulis.
Hi, everybody. My name's Gail Margulis, and I live on Woodland Valley Road. I've been there for 10 years. There's a lot of reasons tonight too that I've heard that to deny this tower. But what I've been most focused on is the fact that this kind of a tower, what effect is it going to have on wildlife? So we're forever wild. There's pollinators here that are already actually dwindling. And this kind of tower has a hugely negative effect on insects, birds, everything that flies in that area. So in that sense, I guess I'm against anything that's going to bring that kind of negativity to our area, because this is a forever wild corridor. I don't even understand how you could even think of putting a tower in there, really. And other people here have actually even stated that there are places that they would put it. So there's that, not to mention, Sam Hayes, the fact that if this was on my property, or I think any one of you, if it was your property that this tower was going up on, and it was going to devalue it, it was going to maybe cause health risks. We really don't know the effects of this kind of emissions. I think anybody would be against it. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beth Waterman.
If I could just real quick, one thing. You have the booklet of the simulated picture of the proposed tower. I think you should pass that around in Verizon's application and let the public look at it.
That's at the planning board. We don't have that here.
I'm Beth Waterman. I'm a member, I live in Big Indian, and I'm a member of the Conservation Advisory Council. We have had several meetings on emergency preparedness and are keenly aware of the need for communication services in the event of a disaster of any sort here, floods, fires, whatever. And I support the change to the town law to allow a higher tower for the purpose of emergency services. And I know that it's been difficult to try to find a site, and that you have all worked very hard to try to do the best for everyone in town. And I just hope that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, that everybody wants and needs emergency services first and foremost. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Beth.
Dennis Frano. Did you get back yet?
He's on an ambulance call. So
Okay. Steve Peterson.
I believe he's downstairs talking to Bob Ross.
Can you tell him to come up?
Jump ahead one, wait. Dennis will go in instead.
Oh, Dennis, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here.
I wasn't here to speak. I was actually
All right,
to listen, but
state your name
since-
and your occupation, please.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the time to speak. My name is Dennis Doyle, I'm the Planning Director of Ulster County. I just want to say that it's really difficult to consider zoning statute changes at the same time that there's a project going through an approval process. Some of the things we've heard tonight gives you a sense of how difficult that is, because the discussion is more about a project rather than about the change. So one of the things I do want to say with respect to the change is that the way it's crafted right now, with respect to the height differences that you're talking about, is you're crafting it so that lighting would not be required generally when you look at the requirements associated with that at the 199-foot level. The second thing I would like to say is that you haven't changed the way that the decisions to build a tower is going to be made. All of the work that gets done under the special permit processes in front of a planning board would still be in place. All of the work relative to seeker, some of the discussion here tonight that's talked about the proposed tower also talks about the impacts associated with that tower if it was built. The change to this zoning statute as proposed would not affect the ability of the planning board to make those determinations in an interactive and cooperative way relative to looking at the environmental work that's associated with that. So there are still protections within your statute, even though the height limitation has been changed. The other point here has to do with fall zones. It's not unusual for towns to essentially attempt to establish fall zones. It's more unusual for them to basically, when you look at engineering solutions for fall zones, not to accept that engineering solutions will work in terms of establishing fall zones. That's my comments on the statute as proposed. I want to move into, if I may, and there's probably others, Steve would be better at this than I am, to talk about how and the work that the county's doing relative to trying to locate and improve the emergency communications within the town. One of the things that the statute does say, as it exists today, is it encourages co-location. So when we looked at the idea that Verizon was proposing a tower, it made sense for us to consider co-locating on that tower. We continue to look at other areas within the town where emergency services would benefit from essentially from tower locations. There are locations within and around the Phoenicia area that will work for the county, but we don't have site control. Whereas in this instance, Verizon does have site control with respect to the existing issues with the existing landowner. We would expect that the town would go through a similar process with the county as it relates to its facilities, although there is a process under regulation, or excuse me, under case law, where the county can ask for immunity from local zoning statutes. And we would likely do that in some instances because of the way your telecommunications statute is written, which doesn't reference essentially public service communications. It references wireless communications as it relates to telecommunications, and clearly an emergency services tower is not a telecommunications tower. The other thing I would want to say is that it's really important to understand the holistic nature of communications in terms of first dispatch. You need to understand that a couple of things happen. One is that over 95% of the calls to our 911 center are now cellular. I would suspect that in Phoenicia that percentage may actually be even higher. So the idea of essentially when we look at a policy with respect to how the county builds its facilities, when we actually build our own facilities, we look at the idea of essentially not only building a facility that will accommodate our equipment, but also a facility that will accommodate at least 2 cell carriers. The cell carriers that we look at are Verizon, and the other cell carrier is
AT&T.
AT&T, thank you, Robert, is AT&T, because they have specific programs that deal with first responders. So understanding that when we look at this, you need to understand that when we start looking at tower heights, we typically start at about 180 feet. And the reason for that is that if you look at the amount of real estate that the cell towers take up and the amount of real estate on a tower that the county's antennas take up, we need somewhere between 25 to 30 feet at a minimum of our own towers. And generally, cell carriers don't want to go below 100 and change, 120 feet and 100 feet. So if you start thinking of that, you get to a height of 180 feet really, really quickly. I would want to say to those folks that are really concerned about how this was chosen and the impacts of towers, that we hear you. We are here looking at alternatives to if that's what the community decides. But we're also understanding that one of the things we'd really like to do is co-locate our facilities with other cellular carriers associated with it. So thank you for your time, and thank you for recognizing me as Steve Peterson.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Is Steve here? Is Steve Peterson here?
Is Steve still available? I don't know.
Yeah.
He's still downstairs meeting with Mr. Cross. He said Dennis was going to speak.
You know,
Okay, gotcha.
Pete, can I say one thing?
Of course.
I mean,
Make it short.
quick.
Please make it
It's
short.
just, it has really no bearing on change in the zoning code that you're looking at today, but just.
Speak
for
in the
everybody's
microphone, please.
Just for everybody's information, the site that they're looking at now is zoned as HR Hamlet Residential, and if you look at the zoning book, it's prohibited telecommunication towers in HR districts.
Thank you. Anyone else on the sheet?
Nope, that's it.
Joyce, excuse me. Can you please read the comments that were sent in so we can hear them and they could go on the record also, please?
I didn't get anything sent. Hank gave me something, I gave it to Peter, but Peter doesn't have
You
it.
didn't email a letter to you?
I didn't get any emails.
Hillary Smith mentioned
I
that
checked
she
it at
had-
5:30, I did not. Hillary Smith, I sent that to the town board. Yeah, they all read
Did
it.
they read it?
I didn't
I'd like to hear
I didn't
it.
get any letters except Hillary Smith. Yours was your statement that was read at your meeting, and they already knew it.
Read today, that's
Oh,
why Olivia was.
Peter said it didn't have to do with our law.
There is Steve Peterson right there,
He sent it to me.
if he's still interested in speaking.
We're not
I said I
planning board.
jumped in, but I didn't get called.
I'm not gonna agree
So
with
as
that.
I said,
Yeah,
He wrote it to the wrong person.
yeah, I get them before 3. I even checked my email before I came upstairs, and there was nothing.
it was a very lengthy letter there from Mr. Bundy there. It was he is a retired telecommunications, and I'm not quite sure.
Can you get by the microphone so I can hear
He
you?
was an engineer, and he said a very lengthy letter there, and I think it's very important that that one be read for this whole situation.
It should go to the planning board, probably.
Um,
Make sure the planning board gets it.
I thought it was coming in here.
From who? I'm sorry, Sam?
Matthew Bundy.
Matthew Bundy.
I'm not gonna read that whole thing, it's about 8 miles long.
Can you make sure that letter makes it?
Yeah,
At least
send-
to myself and the planning
Yeah.
board? Rest of the board too, sure?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The only other thing I have is I have a New York State Town Law Zoning Board of Appeals, and it says that each member of the Board of Appeals shall complete a minimum of 4 hours of training each year designed to enable such members to more efficiently carry out their duties. Training received by a member excess of 4 hours in any 1 year carried on. And it goes into different ways that you can obtain this, and this is for the zoning board members. Since you guys are overriding the zoning board, has anybody or one of you completed any such thing to make the decisions for this amendment?
We're elected officials.
Well, you're elected officials, but you're overriding the zoning board.
I mean, I've certainly
We're not
attended trainings
overriding
before.
We're not overriding the zoning board.
Well,
We're
it's
amending a
because
code.
The zoning board is, I understand, if there's another issue for positioning, it's not gonna be, it's overriding the law that's in effect now. So it's going to exclude them from the next incident. Anyway, that's my paper that I'm asking.
Thank you. Is Steve available?
No, you had Dennis speak for him.
Okay.
Oh.
Can I say something that's nothing, it's on par but a little different from what everybody else said?
Can we wait till the meeting?
Was
Does
it
it
on
got to do
topic?
with this law?
Is it on topic?
Yes.
Oh, then,
Totally on topic.
you didn't sign in, but, you know, okay.
Howard Podensky. I live in South Florida. At my home, I see the towers from my backyard. I've lived through 3 major hurricanes. Each time, cell service went out for days. Generators fail. This is not a surefire way that it's going to work when you have flooding. Especially here, we have trees fall, they can't get to maintain their equipment. I've seen it, I've lived through it unfortunately 3 times, major hurricanes, much more intense than what you've had here. And it's just a different set of opinion than everybody else.
Thank you. Real quick.
I'll make it quick until
State your name.
Ernest Longy Jr.
Thank you.
So I think I'm just going to say what most of us are thinking, right? Like, at the end of the day, you're never going to make everybody happy. That's just politics, period, right? However, the one key thing here is keeping our neighbors safe. And at the board meeting, I plan on bringing a lot of information to show the negative health effects that this can have on families. And I grew up in a town, in this town, since I was 8 years old. I'm about to turn 44 in 2 days, okay? We take care of our own, period. I don't care where the tower goes, as long as it's not going to negatively affect people's health and their family. As far as the EMS service, I was an EMT for 13 years. I think that that is a bogus sell. We always got the job done. We won Agency of the Year for Ulster County because we missed 1 call in an entire year. So to claim that that's like such a huge thing, there's been a fire tower on Mount Tremper for decades that could have been built on. That's just absurd. And guess what? Doesn't neighbor anybody's property. It's simply a hike. So at the end of the day, we keep ourselves safe, we keep our neighbors safe, and we find another place where we are not going to essentially destroy somebody's health. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Mike, last comment.
State your name, even though everybody knows you.
Mike Riccadella.
There you go.
One question. I know that this is about a variance, height variance, and a variance closer to, is that closer to a building, or is it closer to a
Property line.
property line? The only thing is, I don't see a map here. I don't see anything where it shows the tower, where it's going, but it's going.
We're not actually doing the permit, that's the planning board, we're amending a law. Or we're talking about amending a law, that's the
But that's
proposal.
the part, I don't understand. You're amending a law and there's no site, you can't see.
It doesn't, it's not
Right.
necessarily as it
Site-specific.
applies to that
Right.
specific site, even though, yes, it absolutely applies to that specific site. It's an issue that's gonna be affected, but it's not actually what we're discussing this evening, just
What are you
specific site.
Robert.
So-
Whether or not it's an
So
overall.
it's a change to the law. Folks have discussed that there's many other potential locations. Those locations would possibly also require a height change.
You're changing a law, you're getting a variance.
It's not a variance. There's nothing to do with the
Not a
variance.
variance, we're amending a law. The current,
Yeah.
the current,
You're the lawyer for the town?
Well, the proposal is to change law. That's what town boards are.
No, but I mean, who's the lawyer that's looking at it?
nobody's a lawyer. We're not, none of us are
Had
lawyers.
the town lawyer look at this at all?
Yes.
We have.
You what?
Yes.
Yes, the town lawyer has looked at it.
And what was his comments?
He approved it.
Is he here tonight?
He is not.
I would think that if you're changing a law, you would want to have representation and explain it to the public how this law is going to affect everybody in Shandaken and businesses, residential. Is there any kind of I mean, you know. What was the lawyer, what did he say to you?
Said it looked fine.
He said it's a good law?
Yeah. It's I mean, he said it was fine.
What did he
but
say?
I mean, the text shall be up to 180 feet, changing to shall be up to 190 feet. He
Yeah,
certainly.
That's the height, but that's not the.
So the other language is taken from Olive's code. And so it's verbatim the code of the town of Olive, and so it has, you know, obviously there are towers in the town of Olive. This has, in effect, already gone through one, of course, legal review, and of course it has been utilized.
This is, Mike, you know public hearings. This is not a question and answer time. This is, you have a comment, you
Right.
make your comment.
Well, I'm trying to figure it out because.
Well,
it's-
okay.
You know, if the
That
town board
comes-
wants to push a law, there should be some kind of a chart or some kind of a lawyer here to explain how it affects the town and is there any, could there be any problems in the long run going down the line?
Do you like or not like the law?
I don't know the law.
Okay.
And I'm not against
And
cell
you-
tower.
and you're
at this
here
site.
why?
What's that?
And you're here why?
I'm here because I want to know what the representation is to the town board.
Okay.
And also, there's a citizen that's going to make his land worthless once you put this tower up, which is something that should be considered by the town board.
Yeah, it is. It is.
All right.
All that is considered.
Okay.
And to answer your question, anytime a law or an amendment to a law or an amendment to a code is proposed at this town board, all of that information gets sent to our zoning attorney, to our town attorney. We don't write resolutions willy-nilly.
Yeah.
As, you know, as much as I try sometimes. All that stuff
But I
goes
just would
through.
think that there would be a comment back from, you know, the lawyer on how it would affect, is there any?
I don't know that he sends his thoughts on how much he loves the law. He usually just says, yes, it looks good, it looks ironclad, right? So as long as there's nothing that pigeonholes us in terms, and we're just talking about writing law now, as long as there's nothing glaringly obvious that is wrong, he's in favor of it. That's what we pay him for. It's to go through the language and polish it, essentially. So to answer your question, yes, the lawyers have looked at it.
What about the zoning board?
What was that?
All right, thank you.
Zoning board was against it though, correct?
Correct. And
They're
it
not
falls-
against the code.
Yeah.
to-
Go ahead.
They were against the variance.
Correct. But it is the responsibility of the town board to amend any codes in the town as well as to pass any laws in town.
You're against the variance, and what this amendment does is allow it to get closer to my line again, which is, in a sense, overriding what the zoning board does.
Exactly what this amendment to the zoning code is overriding what the zoning board already did and undermining the process.
You said that already, Hank. Thank you. All right. No more. Mike was the last comment.
What is Wednesday's meeting about?
Wednesday is the planning board.
Sell your, sell tower itself.
The cell tower itself, so if this doesn't go through, why are we
Because it's about positioning and it's a different meeting for that.
That's a different board. That's the board that cites. We make the laws. The planning board will do applicants.
But isn't that maybe gonna be based on what goes on tonight?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how would you know what the final outcome is tonight?
You sit and wait.
We're
Well,
gonna
there'll
vote
be
on
no
it.
final outcome related to this project tonight. This project is not before the town board.
You can't
The-
say the law that goes
Yeah.
towards a project is not gonna affect it. I mean, you know, what do you,
Please.
children? Like, come on. You literally said during the meeting that it'll affect the project, that goes hand in hand. So you can't sit there and say, oh, it'll have no effect on the project, like.
No. What was meant was, we don't say yes or no to a project.
I understand that, but the law that we're talking about amending directly affects the project that we're discussing that's gonna be talked about on Wednesday. Is that yes or no?
Correct, yes.
Right, so you can't sit here in one sentence and say. it
Nobody
won't have
said that.
anything to do- He literally just said it.
But, so the cell tower project without emergency services radio is not above the existing 180 feet. If there is no change to the law, that project could still go forward as it is specified. if the planning board chooses to do so at
the
that
same
site.
site.
It's not, it still needs a variance.
I just have one question.
No.
Is the site, is that already determined, this is the site that's going up?
That hasn't been finalized. They're looking at a site.
And who do we talk to about where the site goes?
Planning board.
Planning board, yeah.
But the planning board wouldn't pick a site.
No, it'd be Verizon, really,
No,
but-
the planning board would not be the one to talk to about other sites under consideration. That would be a question directly for Verizon, who is looking to be the primary builder in coordination, hopefully, with the county. If another site is picked, and I have to say if, because we have no control over telling them to look at a site or not. They may look at more sites, I believe they are. If they pick another site, then there would be another process going through the planning board as well. But the actual, this is the site we want to try, that would be Verizon.
This amendment, I'm sorry, is getting voted on today, correct?
The law is getting voted on,
So if you
or
can't
not.
answer Mike's questions, how is it possible to appease the people of the community if you can't answer a few questions?
We answer questions.
You didn't. You said, yeah. The lawyer says yes.
I don't see how you can vote
And you
on
said,
something
that's what
with
you're
this many
saying.
people
You
and
said
you're
yes.
actually gonna put it
That was your
forward.
words, verbatim.
Those were my words, and that was specifically to Mike's question about how the lawyer pertains to us writing law. So, yes, he said it's good. I said that. I am not saying, yes, we are approving this law. I'm not saying, yes, we are approving this
I understand
project.
that, but he had some questions that he was trying to get some
Ernie,
information.
Ernie,
Mike.
yeah.
Mike Riccadello was asking questions, and he didn't get any answers other than the lawyer says yes.
He asked what lawyer what our relationship was with the lawyer and why he's not here.
Wait for a little more articulation
I can give you some-
of details than just a yes.
I have a question, please.
There are people in front of you. Okay, I believe there was a gentleman with a mask back there with his hand up.
Can I stand up to the mic?
Yeah.
Please, and state your name.
Thank you for hosting everyone this evening.
Sure.
So I'm a resident of Shandaken,
What's your name
Jerry Sforza,
and what hamlet?
Mount Tremper, and a frequent visitor to downtown Phoenicia, which is the heart and soul of Shandaken. So I have a few points. The main point I'd like to just talk about is why override a zoning board's opinion that the amendment should not be approved. That's their job, right? They're all trained, they go to.
Correction, they didn't say the amendment shouldn't be approved. They said the variance shouldn't be approved. The applicant went to the planning board and wanted a higher height of their tower than our law states. The law states 180 feet. They
what
wanted
he's
to.
saying is why, if we voted it down, the variance
They
is
went.
why
They were
are
sent
you-
to the.
Why are you
Shh,
doing an
please,
amendment?
you're
Come on.
interrupting
Hey,
me.
please. Hey,
Hey,
please. Only
you're
the person at the
interrupting me.
microphone.
Trying to.
Please, only the
clarify here.
person at the microphone could please speak.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, the planning board sent the applicant to the ZBA for a variance, a height variance, and a setback variance. That was denied.
By the zoning board?
By the ZBA, yes.
And why did they deny it?
Numerous reasons. They just didn't think it was in the right location, and others. There was a
For the
long
best
couple-
interests of the community, I assume. So their job is to enforce and approve projects based on a set of rules.
Their job is to approve or disapprove a variance.
Variance,
Of
okay.
laws that are already current, then somebody wanted a variance for. So it could be approved for 180 feet with a further setback or a closer setback, but that is a whole different story. They didn't want to go that extra. The ZBA didn't want them to go the extra 19 feet or be closer for the fall zone.
So could you share with the audience, the community members, what the rationale was behind their
And then we
ruling?
decided to amend our law, or attempt and make a proposition to amend our law. Whether we do that or not, that's, for tonight to decide when we vote on it. which would alleviate a few things, but
But that amendment would impact all of us. So anybody that owns property would now have to be concerned about the impact of this amendment, correct?
anywhere where a tower can be sited, and it's not able to be sited everywhere.
But there's a number of us, myself included, who are living on the side of a mountain that might be determined to be a potential site.
Yeah.
And with these changes in a zoning law that we all currently live with and live by,
right,
it would negatively impact certain landowners who happen to be neighboring where the applicant wants to site this tower.
Correct.
So shouldn't that be taken into consideration?
It
Given
is.
the
And
size.
that's why we have a public hearing.
Right.
All these things are going to be taken into consideration. That's what we're here for.
It seems the overwhelming sentiment of the
In
audience.
this room.
So are you saying that there's a different sentiment throughout the township?
I'm not saying anything of the sort.
Okay, fair enough. So in this room, there's an overwhelming feeling that it would be, we as residents of this township, which we all love, that's why we live here, would be negatively impacted. Secondly, the point, I did see that same image that Declan made reference to earlier, where there was a tower that you could see from downtown Phoenicia. So Phoenicia, as much as we all love that town, is struggling. There's a number of empty storefronts, and it doesn't get the traffic that it used to. And to see us, it's the heart of the Catskills. I think that's the caption on the real estate agent, Riccadella's sign there. We're in the heart of the Catskills. So to be in the heart of the Catskills and see this big, ugly tower from downtown Phoenicia does not seem like a good way to market that town, given the fact that views are so critical. That's why people come up here, for the views.
Thank you. I think your time is up.
That's okay. Well, lastly, I was just going to mention, I don't think there's anyone on the board who would feel comfortable living on a property where that tower was going to be sited as close to that it's going to be in Sam's property. No one. Would any one of you welcome this tower to be 500 feet or whatever it is from your line of sight out of your living room?
I don't have any.
There's so much open land in this area. Why can't we just look at these other sites and not approve this amendment, because it makes it encroaches on people's property rights in a negative way?
Thank you.
That's my last comment.
You have a copy of my letter that came from the zoning board. You said you had one, always had one.
It's in my email.
read
Can you
it.
read
It's,
that letter, and that would answer that gentleman's question about.
I don't
why
have it
the
with
zoning
me.
board
Kevin's
turned
got it.
down.
I mean, I gotta look for it, but.
Okay, give him a minute, he'll look for it.
If you can read that, that would.
Okay.
Because,
of course. One last.
well, you're saying that now in the town law, you're allowed a 180-foot tower. That is still, if it's 180 feet, it's still 100 foot over my property line. So this still needs a variance, because you actually don't know where the line is, and I keep telling you, you need an actual survey. So for you to say that a 180-foot tower complies to this site, it does not.
Okay.
I'm
All
just
right.
saying,
I'm
because
sure
it
you're-
still needs a variance, and you're saying it could go.
Right,
So,
I'm not
but
permitting
in
I'm not permitting, we're not permitting the tower on your
saying
land.
in fact,
Okay.
the amendment is going to reduce that to make it work. That's what this amendment is going to do, because I heard Verizon, Mr. Scott, indicate that he felt that 100 feet was safe. It's still very close and marginal, but a 180-foot tower is still not acceptable to my property.
You can't shout from the audience, please. If you want to come up and speak, please come to the microphone, state your name. We don't accept shouting from the audience, please.
Thank you. If there is no,
I don't have enough service, it's not downloading. I'm waiting for it, it's trying.
I'm Gail Lester, and I've lived in this town since 1992.
Finish.
And I've seen a lot of town board meetings considering this cell tower, which was put down long ago. And I think Pete Discapani should have explained a little bit more to some people that haven't been here very long, you know, in this town, considering the zoning board meeting and everything. I think the petition has affected Sammy, his neighbor, that's gonna affect this cell tower going up higher, okay? And it's gonna affect a lot of people. I know we need cell service, but you have to find another place, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to talk about.
All right, and this is the last one, folks.
This is the last
Really, this time.
Your amendment, normally.
I'm really trying, I am. I'm
normally,
sorry.
If there was a problem and the zoning board said, listen, we gotta change this, they would put a proposal to the board and say, hey, we need to amend this, like, do this. And did they ask for a change for that amendment, or was that just?
The ZBA did not ask for the change.
It was just because Verizon needs it, so we're gonna try to.
It was thought that emergency services.
They never voted to approve.
It was thought emergency services.
Over 40 years.
But does it have to be like that?
And we've always got.
Does it have to be like that?
No, it doesn't.
What? Hey, I lost
40 years.
I lost
Talking
service.
to yourself on occasion.
Yes.
You can't rush into it.
No.
And step on people's feet, that's all.
Okay, all right, Steve, I did say, this is the last one.
Hi, Stephen Mancinelli.
I thought you spoke.
I'm sorry?
I thought you spoke already, please?
Yeah, I
Okay.
spoke.
He's gonna speak 1 minute, a
One more?
short minute.
One
Okay.
more.
All right,
All right.
Stephen.
As I mentioned before, my wife and I own the property next door where one of the towers is supposed to go up on the Schultes property. It seems to me that the cost benefit of this, I understand Verizon did not get the variance, right? And I understand the logic of you saying you're not overriding the board, you're not overriding the variance. Yeah, I get that, you're amending the law, but who is the beneficiary of the amendment? It's Verizon, not the town.
Be primarily
The town
Ulster
is not
County,
the direct
but
beneficiary of that,
What was that?
especially when you're talking about putting the base closer to property lines, which is gonna directly affect my wife and I and our property and significantly devalue our property.
I just want to clarify.
And
that
I'm not, and I'm
no one's
just,
talking about making the tower on the Schultes property
if you
relocate
amend,
or make it taller.
if you amend this, it gives Verizon the option to do
It
that.
would still have to, as Dennis explained and others have explained, that would still have to go through the planning board.
Yeah,
and
sure, it'd have to go to the planning
could
board, and you've
still
made it
turn
more
down.
convenient and easy
No,
for
that-
Verizon to get it through the planning board.
No, that doesn't
And
go to the planning
my
board,
property
but-
is being affected directly. And I'm very concerned, if it's up the hill, fine, EMF radiation falls off exponentially as it gets farther and farther away. You put that base closer to my home, and the EMF radiation is directly going to affect us.
Okay.
And so, who are we benefiting with this amendment? It's Verizon. And be honest about it.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to, I make a motion, we
Close the public hearing?
close the public meeting.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I guess you're not gonna read the letter.
I guess not, yeah.
Did you get it downloaded?
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, read it.
All right.
We're
Whoop,
All right,
whoop,
calm
whoop.
down, calm down.
Whoop, whoop. I will speak as clearly as I can, and this is the last thing before we open the regular meeting. July 5th, 2025, to Verizon from Henry L.I. Williams, Acting Chairman, Forum Zoning Board of Appeals, Town of Shandaken, New York. Subject, denial of application for Verizon Telecommunication Tower located in SBL 1413-3-2, Route 28, New York. Introduction. The report summarizes the decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals to deny the application for variances by Verizon Wireless for the installation of a wireless telecommunication tower on Route 28, SBL, blah, 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 situated within the Catskill Mountain Park and the adjacent to a designated scenic byway. Legal framework. The Telecommunication Act of 1996, TCA, encourages the development of wireless communications and infrastructure, Section 332C7, of the Act preserves the authority of the state and local governments to give authority to regulate the placement, construction, and modification of wireless facilities, including the prohibiting of actions that would effectively ban wireless services for unreasonably discriminate among providers. This denial is based on the following grounds, which are believed to be consistent and supported by the Telecommunication Act provisions. Environmental impact. The construction of the presence of a cell tower in this area would negatively impact the natural beauty and landscape. This would disrupt local ecosystems, harm wildlife, and affect migratory bird patterns. Visual intrusion. A tower, especially a tall one of 200 feet, will distract from the natural beauty of the scenic quality of the Catskill Mountain Park and Scenic Byway. Aesthetic degradation. A tower of 200 feet tall and industrial looking when built will not blend into the natural environment, disrupt views, and potentially alter the area's character. Compromise historical integrity. The presence of the modern cell tower would compromise the historical integrity and aesthetics of a cherished historic and scenic area of the Catskill Mountain Park. Radio frequency, radiation exposure that cell towers emit, neo-anodizing radiation. Living near them increases daily exposure. Possible health concerns. Where science is still developing and debating, a growing body of research suggests potential health risks associated with RF radiation, including concerns about effects of fertility, fetal development, and associations with cancer. Verizon Wireless interest in providing improved wireless services acknowledged. However, the current proposal represents the unacceptable compromise of the park's critical environmental aesthetic values. Verizon Wireless is encouraged to continue exploring alternate setting solutions that are less impactful of the sensitive Catskill Mountain Park's environment. This decision is made in writing and is supported by substantial evidence contained within the application review process and administrative record. Sincerely, Henry T. Williams, Acting Chair, Zoning Board of Appeals, Shandaken, New York. It is worth noting that these are, of course, the opinions of Hank. These were in the meeting minutes for that ZBA meeting, if I'm not mistaken, so if anybody would like to read that themselves because of my mush mouth, they're more than welcome to go back. And that was July 2nd.
Thank you very much, Kevin. All right, we're going to take a 10-minute recess before we reopen the regular town board meeting.
I need to talk to Steve.
closer they can get it down to the road, the more convenient it's going to be for the okay? And the question is, why is this amendment being proposed in the first place? Great Genesis of it. If the planning board should grant the variance, okay, now, what, if Verizon itself? I'm not doing this for the lawyer. The only one that is benefiting from this amendment is Verizon, and it's so damn obvious.
self-service. There was no self-service in the previous. You know what? I told my wife that. That's
Testing.
We're hot.
Testing, testing.
All right.
I guess there's a very faint light.
Okay. We're getting started. Please get seated.
Yes, it's on. I can't hear myself.
I don't have any.
We got a whole meeting to go. I know, we haven't even started.
Did I seriously?
What time is it? Oh, only 8:10? I had us down for going to 11. I'm not even lying, I had an over-under.
I will be right back.
So I guess I lost the bet.
Maybe.
A few.
He's leaving?
We go quickly.
We could certainly start. I mean, what's the rush at this point?
In for a penny, in for a pound. I mean, I just asked for a cigarette.
10 minutes wasn't enough.
Did Chad leave? He must have. He was here, he was in the back.
It is on.
No, but the green light's not on. I like the green light. No, I know it's on. I like the green light. Just
We have our own problems right here.
Secret mic. We don't talk to those no-lighters.
I'll just thank you.
Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board Member Drake.
Here.
Board Member Nysel.
still here.
Board Member Steen.
Here.
Board Member Van Blarkum.
Present.
Supervisor DeScalani.
Here. Still hard. Make a motion to accept last month's meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay.
Aye.
All in favor? Yeah.
We skipped it.
Tonight, we're working on amending 2 town codes, most notably the telecommunications law, to allow for better emergency response communications along our main traffic corridors. We're appointing planning board member, dog shelter helper, advertising the positions of Pine Hill Water Commissioner. We're supporting an application for Pine Hill improvements with the New York Forward Program grant, supporting Ulster County's Bridge Street replacement, a participation of 2 properties in a New York City flood buyout program. Last month, we resolved to work towards, and currently, we're in the process of buying the Phoenicia School with the idea of it being used for affordable housing, workforce housing, and market-priced housing, and including a community space. As stated in last month's resolution of support, it's believed this will go to a district-wide referendum. This is a work in progress, and all comments are welcome. A huge thank you to John Valek and Steve Neville for re-roofing the Phoenicia Information Kiosk. Thanks, guys. And thanks to the Park and Rec and Ellie for doing the putt-putt. Yay. Always, these notes and minutes of these and all town meetings are online at our town website, shandaken.gov, or you can watch our meetings on YouTube. Our next regular meeting is October 1st. Sorry. 6th?
Yep.
Okay. At 7 o'clock. We're going to go to communications, and Jan Jaff is going to make a presentation about the Wellington.
Actually, I'm not. So I'm wearing my volunteer community engagement coordinator hat.
Oh, cool.
And I was just going to thank the town board for passing a resolution for applying for New York Forward again for Pine Hill. This is a community effort to try to raise $4.5 million from the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Corporation for their Small Towns program. This will be the 3rd time we've applied. I think 3 may be a charm. Last round, we were finalists. That's pretty amazing. We lost out to Dobbs Ferry. So we're very, far away from the Westchester, where most of the small towns are, and we really stood out for them, and they encouraged us to apply again. So I want to thank Robert Drake for being in our finalist video as the detective of Pine Hill, and that was a real winner. And also Calandra Cruikshank and Mark Hurlbert, David Rainbird, and the entire PH2 group have reviewed these proposals numerous times. They involve historic lighting, a walking tour, an audio walking tour of Pine Hill, improving the Smith Park, improving all of our other nonprofits, the historic museum and the library and the community center, as well as getting some funds for the Wellington to finish this project of 10 affordable units, housing units and a grocery store, putting a sidewalk perhaps on one side of Pine Hill in conjunction with the highway department, and all the work that they're going to be doing with roads in the area. It's a really awesome proposal, and I just really want to thank everybody for participating in it. And I'm going to show this picture of the last year's application, a drone shot taken by Andrew Messenger of Pine Hill. It's really putting us on the map, so thank you.
Thanks, Jan. Got supervisor's financial report. Zoning fees $350, ambulance fees $13,812.87, ambulance donation $100, SBA $3,500.34, town clerk fees $50, vital statistics $160, building permit fees $84.58.50, dog fees donations $571, police fees $400, justice fees $60, interest on town accounts $29,700. I'm sorry, that's justice fees $29,706. Interest on town accounts is $8.07. Reinsurance payback $213. MH, the Medical Arts Building, $900. Big Indian Beautification $1,700 donation. STR receivables, $1,583.52. Phoenicia sales tax, $64,798.60. Phoenicia water rents, $3,000. Pine Hill water rents, $3,000. Glenbrook Park, $50. State aid, $988. Medical coverage for employee, $261.82. Summer rec donations, $50. Cornell Cooperative, $6,627.50 for a grand total of $140,435.22. Rest of the communications, Joyce? Anything?
I don't know if Sam's still here.
No.
Okay, so we put online, it's on our Facebook page and website, if you want to sign up for the Scarecrow Contest. We have the big event coming up, and Phoenicia is going to be October 26th, and that's brought to you by the Phoenicia Fire District, Phoenicia Business Association, the Rotary, and the American Legion Auxiliary. And we're going to have the Halloween Parade, the Scarecrow Contest, and the Trunk or Treat all on the same day, and that's going to be October 26th, so mark your calendar. The American Legion is having a breakfast on Sunday, September 14th, 9 to 12 p.m., and that's going to be open to the public, $12 per person, 1045 Veterans Way. And last one for the Veterans Luncheon is Thursday, September 18th, sponsored by the Phoenicia American Legion 950, and that is RSVP and transportation. Seating is limited, and that's brought to us by Ulster County Veteran Services Agency. That's September 18th. That's all I have right now.
Thank you, Joyce. All right, going to move forward with committee reports. Kyle. Ambulance.
August 2025 report. Total calls received 50, mutual aid given 5, Town of Olive 1, Town of Woodstock 1, Greene County 4, Lexington. Mutual aid received 1, multiple calls in district. Total transports 27. Total no transports, standby relocations 23. Another incredibly busy August for the ambulance service, especially on the weekends. When parking in the hamlets, particularly during events, Please be mindful of keeping streets navigable for emergency vehicles. On more than a few occasions, the area of Church Street between Main and Tremper in the village of Phoenicia have been impassable by an ambulance on weekends due to precariously parked cars. Please be sure to leave adequate space so we can help you. I'm fairly certain that many townspeople are aware of a mountain rescue incident that occurred August 29th near Giant Ledge, where a quartet of individuals decided it would be a fantastic idea to take psilocybin psychedelic mushrooms and go for a hike in the largest wilderness area in the Catskill Preserve. One individual became so disoriented that they had to be escorted down with 2 rangers on each side. On top of it, they lost their keys during the trip, and rangers had to go find them the next day. Common sense is not a hard concept to grasp, but occurrences like this make me think it is all but lost. Stay safe out there. Richard Muller-Liley, EMTP, Chief of Department, Town of Shandaken Ambulance Service.
Thanks, Kyle. Building zoning, Ellie?
I can't top that one.
No.
Building department issued 19 building permits, 5 certificates of compliance, 5 certificates of occupancy, 2 demolitions, and 2 event permits. And our fire and safety inspector performed 11 inspections and 7 visits.
Thank you.
See, not as fun.
Chad, police?
140 calls for service and 5 arrests. Fun fact about that trip that you just spoke about is the Rangers actually found the keys the next day.
Hey.
Thank you, Chad. Barb?
Hey, Phoenicia Water here. I'll try to go fast. It's been a long night. The committee met on September 2nd at Simpson Gazebo. We discussed the need for the committee to expand beyond its 3 current members and now request that interested individuals attend our next meeting on October 7th at 9 o'clock at Phoenicia Library. The committee would also like Superintendent Rick Yardella to attend meetings, which are the first Tuesday of each month. The committee's understanding is that the water plant is still limping along with 1 under-functioning infiltration pump and the smaller backup pump. The norm being 2 infiltration pumps. 1 pump died and a replacement was ordered by the town and is expected to arrive later this month. Phil Garaffa, who's done work for Phoenicia's water system for many years, said that gauges for the main infiltration pumps are in the main water plant on the back wall. These gauges measure in gallons, usually pumping 100 gallons per minute. As of September 2nd, the remaining pump was pumping in about 40 gallons per minute. Please note the pump that died went from pumping 28 gallons per to completely breaking within a week. The committee is grateful to Robert Drake and Elizabeth Neisel for visiting the water plant and providing updates after the first infiltration pump failed. Please update us when there's an appointment date with the Hunt Engineering to maybe assess issues in the water plant and to create a plan. Our understanding is that the Hunt could possibly map out, document the entire system, and that we hope to create our SOP and perhaps an emergency response plan. The committee requests that Supervisor DeSclafani ask the county if they will fund any implementation of the SLR engineering plan to complete for the High Street Loop. Further, the committee asks Supervisor DeSclafani to ask the county what technical assistance they are able to provide in procuring and reporting on state funding for Phoenicia's drinking water system. It's clear that in addition to the immediate need for a second infiltration pump, there are major infrastructure updates needed, and these updates are needed now. This is respectfully submitted on behalf of Carrie Henderson, Chair. Can I have that white copy in the minutes? Sure, Mike.
Thank you. Kyle again, Pine Hill Water, or someone here. Rob, you want to speak on?
Thanks, Rob. Last we met, we just went over that MTC has installed internet up there for securing some surveillance as well as connectivity for whoever is up there testing water, because the Verizon line was no longer working. There's also been another address sign attached to the building. Also, I just wanted to say, because it wasn't said before, thank you very much to Ethan for doing an amazing job and serving not only the water system itself, but the members of the community. And we will miss him as he has resigned. That's it.
Thank you very much. Museum, Joseph?
The monthly report of the Shandaken Historical Museum for August 2025. On Saturday and Sunday, August 9th and 10th, the museum held its 10th annual metal detecting weekend, working with the Nor'easters Metal Detecting Club of Stamford, Connecticut. This fundraising project unearthed some rare and historically important metal treasures like Civil War era buttons and coins, and an old Pine Hill printing plate depicting a frantic flapper running off in a 1920s Stutz Bearcat. The Nor'easters generously helped the museum improve its bottom line and provided a lot of fun and historical information. Local historian and former Chichester postmaster Charlie Zimmerman will present the first in a series of multimedia presentation about the town of Shandaken and its 12 hamlets. The first presentation, called Over the Notch, Chichester, New York, a company hamlet, will be presented at the Shandaken Town Hall on Saturday, September 27th at 2 p.m. We will all learn the unique historical backstory of the hamlet of Chichester, its people, its factory, and its legacy. On Sunday, September 7th, the Shandaken Historical Museum was the feature story on the front page of the Sunday Daily Freeman. In an article called Shandaken Historical Museum Keeps the Catskills History Alive. This high-profile story featured great photos of the museum's treasures, along with an entertaining interview with the museum board. On Sunday, September 16th, noted author and historian Evan Pritchard gave a great multimedia presentation at the museum called Turtle Tracks 2. In this unique and exciting adventure, Evan guided us on a virtual journey along the Turtle Island Trail, now known as Route 22, from Montreal, Canada to Louisville, Kentucky. One of his special guests, Muncie Cultural Director Marcia Davis, also announced her new Native American Resource Center called the Muncie Esopus Center that will be established in the town of Big Indian. The series of live concerts at Big Indian Park concluded its successful run throughout the month of August and September. Thanks to everyone for making this a series of events so great. In June, the museum had 35 visitors, many leaving generous contributions and messages of thanks and appreciation. One small group, visiting all the way from China, were thrilled and amused to see that their small village was depicted on a World War II era gas station map that we had displayed in the basement gallery. Respectfully submitted, Joseph Reboy.
Thank you, Joe. Anybody? Oh, Kevin.
Parks and Rec Committee report, September 2025. Our last meeting was held on August 19th at 5:30 p.m. at the Big Indian Park. We had a few guests that are residents of Big Indian, as well as members of the Shandaken Beautification Committee. Congratulations to the Shandaken Beautification Committee on a successful summer concert series. Well attended and had nice weather for most of the Sundays. We discussed painting, exciting play equipment at Big Indian Park, as well as adding new play equipment there. There is other maintenance needed, and we are hoping Highway can help with those tasks. We also discussed adding a bench and a piece of play equipment to Simpson Park on the corner of Main Street and Route 214. There are still funds we need to expend from the Smart Growth Grant at Glenbrook Park. We have Kurt Boyer working on signs there as well with the help of Diana Richards at the Catskill Visitor Center. We are hoping to set a date in October for an official announcement with Senator Hinchy for the Crest Grant we received for a new playground at Glenbrook. The Phoenicia Library will be hosting their annual Balkan Fest at Glenbrook Park on Saturday, September 20th from 3 to 7 p.m. Music sponsored by Ulster Savings Bank and food by Upstate Curious. Designs for upgrades to Smith Park are being submitted with the New York Forward application Jan Jaffe and Robert Drake have been working on. The design includes a concrete skate park, pump track, new playground, walking paths, and parking. We appreciate Corrine and KNN Landscape Design for helping with the new design concepts. The mini golf at Parish Field has been a big draw for people of all ages already, but there is still work to be done. We are also working on rules of play that we will put on a banner. I also want to note that this is a town-owned attraction and we need town approval for all changes that are made. Safety is a top priority for participants and our emergency personnel. We thank all our business sponsors, including Ulster Savings Bank, Phoenicia Diner, Phoenicia Lodge, Melange, the Graham & Co., Hudson Valley Foundation for Youth Health, Shandaken Inn, ABW Design and Management LLC, and Kurt Boyer. We are still looking for a manager for Rock Cut Park in Mount Tremper. Please email supervisor@shandaken.gov if you are interested in applying. All parks managers are volunteers and there is no compensation. Our next meeting will be held on Friday, September 19th, 5:30 p.m. at Parish Hall. Town Hall is a backup if we experience inclement weather.
Thank you. Anybody from Housing Smart?
From the Housing Committee. So I just want to let you guys know, everyone, on September 22nd at Town Hall, Kai Farmer from the Ulster County Planning will present the results of the Shandaken Housing Inventory Site mapping project. So as previously mentioned, the goal of this inventory map is to identify vacant and underutilized non-vacant sites where we might be able to expand residential housing development within our town's municipal boundaries. The county used geographic information systems, mapping software, and other available data to create an inventory map filtering out parcels with serious constraints such as flooding, wetlands, sensitive habitat, and steep slopes, etc., and other possible constraints. Why this is important is that ideally, once the town has reviewed the housing sites inventory, the county will work with municipal staff, the Housing Committee, and Ulster County Planning Department to choose 1 to 3 of the top priority identified sites where we could potentially build more housing. Municipal staff, the Housing Committee, and Ulster County Planning Department will then work with the current property owners of these sites to ensure there is buy-in to sell the sites for the purpose of building additional housing. Again, Monday the 22nd, 6 o'clock at Town Hall. If you guys could come, we'd love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks. CAC, Beth?
Beth Waterman, Conservation Advisory Council. We have no report. We will be meeting a week from tonight at 6:30 here.
Thank you. Anything with the comp plan?
They are going to be in town this Friday. They have a meeting this Friday. I'll tell you the time here in a second, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be here at Town Hall on
2 to 5.
2 to 5, yes, thank you. And so that would largely be reporting on the comments of their second survey. So just to give that a little bit of context, their first survey asked the community what their top priorities were. The second survey asked for additional details on those top priorities, most specifically housing and business, effectively. The expectation is to delve a little bit into the comments that were received on that second survey, and the expectation is that a final version, a completed document, but a completed draft document will potentially be available either, they say August, but I suspect November is more likely. And then that will go through multiple rounds of comment, multiple rounds of public hearings. That will probably be a fairly lengthy and a fairly, I suspect that could be just as interesting of a conversation as the one we've had tonight, if you sort of follow the drift there. But that document will hopefully be available within 1 to 2 months.
Robert, did you say that meeting is this coming Friday?
I'm correct on that, right? Yes. From 2 to 5. Or sorry, say again?
The 12th.
The 12th?
Yes, the 12th from 2 to 5. Yes.
All right. Thanks. Comments on resolutions?
I'm not touching the cell tower. I'm here to ask 11724. You have a flood buyout for a property along Plank Road, and the town is taking ownership. Why is the town taking ownership of this parcel? Is there a project slated for this property, or?
No. Please.
There is not a present project or our project slated for that parcel. The DEP prefers those parcels, smaller parcels, to be town-owned because they are honestly often better maintained
And
ultimately by the town. And then it gives the town more leverage and flexibility to do something. It's a very nice site for a public park, potentially.
well, in the past, what we've done is we've deferred to allow the DEP to purchase those properties that we had no project slated for. We still receive tax base and payments from them based on that property. If we have no project slated for it, I would suggest you table this and maybe reword it so it's the DEP. I mean, previous language, we've done it with other resolutions in the past. I just don't see the purpose of us losing more tax base for something it's not gonna be a park, it's not gonna be a project, so let the DEP pay taxes on it and maintain it as open land.
I mean, I know you can't speak for DEP, but would they be, should we table it? To
If you don't take ownership, they have to.
Yeah, I know.
I know their preference, but I
Yeah.
don't speak on the specific.
I know that.
Are you
Yeah.
referring to the one that's 38 Main Street, or?
No, the
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
38 Main Street's fine, I understood that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
464 Plank Road.
Yeah.
That didn't sound, he sounded like, I heard something completely different from him. I was very confused. I was searching for entirely wrong address.
No, 464. Yeah. Any other comments on resolutions?
Where are those parcels located?
Excuse me?
The parcel, where they're located. The location of the parcel.
464 Plank Road.
Okay, let's get started. Oh, yeah, I want to do motions. Make a motion, we accept the resignations of John Horn and Ethan Bernstein, all very, I mean, both very, really good workers, but. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'm gonna make a motion, but later. We're gonna go into an executive session for Chad at the end of the meeting, just to let everybody know. Okay.
A meeting date?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I'll go.
Was there also an interest in doing a motion for setting a meeting? I believe we're posting a job.
We have a resolution.
We do have a resolution?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we start,
Do we want to make a motion to
table 110 and 117?
to table 110 and 117?
Yes. I was gonna do that when we got to it.
Okay.
Motion, your motion, right?
I think Kevin seconded.
Second?
I believe Kevin did.
Yep.
No, I believe Kevin did. But
Yep.
Kevin, second?
Yep.
And what was the other one?
Okay.
Motion to.
Table 110 and 117. So the telecommunications law and
And who made the motion on that one?
Kyle.
James. Second?
That encompassed 117 also?
117?
110 and 117.
Okay, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So for reference, the telecommunication adjustment has been tabled. We will not be voting on it tonight. I would like to clarify that this board, and I don't want to speak for you, but based on the conversations we've had, we stand committed to improving radio telecommunications in town as well as cell service. It is clear that this project has a lot of barriers. This resolution, maybe the language needs to be polished, but it is something that this board is committed to going forward. And I think that vital infrastructure, if we can find the right way to do it, what I heard tonight was everybody supports it, just not the current project. So I think as the town goes forward and as you see the comprehensive plan come out, it will be a main focal point of this town board.
Thank you, Kevin.
As far as finding a better plan.
Right. Well, planning board, but.
Yeah. Okay, start them up.
Your turn.
Oh, I have the separate sheet, yeah.
Yeah, it came later.
Resolution 10825, resolution to pay all bills and move its adoption.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 109-25, resolution authorizing adoption by the town board of the town of Shandaken of local law number 1 of 2025, alternate members of planning board and zoning board of appeals, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 11125, advertise for Pine Hill Water Commissioner, and I move its adoption.
Second?
Well, wait, so we also want to schedule the, when we're on the next meeting is in that resolution.
Yeah. So
2 weeks.
let's,
Yeah, so what, we thought Wednesday, September 17th at 2 p.m.
I'd have to zoom in.
You have to zoom in, that's fine.
Which date, sorry?
Wednesday, September 17th at 2, or Thursday.
I would have to
Hey,
zoom in
folks,
for either
please
of
keep
those.
it down.
If you're gonna talk, please move out. Thank you.
Go outside and talk. Yeah. What do you think, guys, Wednesday or Thursday?
I would have to zoom in for either one, but I'm happy to.
Kevin, can you make Thursday?
Wednesday or Thursday.
Zoom in now.
We have to have,
We need a quorum, yeah.
So if you three can attend in person, then that's acceptable.
I can do 17th or 18th at 2 p.m., either one.
How about you?
Sure.
Okay, let's do the 17th at 2 p.m.
Except
we don't have somebody.
there's going to be a challenge there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have, they
No,
don't
no,
have
that's
to.
fine, that's fine, because we could still.
If we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
three,
yeah.
we're fine, yeah.
There's somebody just has to, yeah, okay.
The 17th
Wednesday,
at,
17th?
at 2 p.m., yeah.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
we'll select, somebody. All in favor, who seconded it?
I believe no, I made this.
Second.
I seconded it, yes. So if we're done with that, resolution 11225, appoint planning board member Chandra Valiente and move its adoption.
Second.
She was here, but I believe she's departed, but anyway.
We'll swear in that night. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution number 113-25, resolution to appoint dog kennel volunteer, Dolores Paula, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 11425, resolution supporting submission of a proposal to the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council to select the town of Shandaken for a $4.5 million of strategic investment in Pine Hill through the New York State, New York Forward program, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 115-25, resolution supporting Ulster County's replacement of the Bridge Street Bridge, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I do think it may be worth making a quick comment on this, that at 5:30 today, there was a presentation by the engineering firm SLR related to updated flood maps. There was a presentation earlier today by SLR, an engineering firm that provided updated flood maps. Now, ostensibly, or those flood maps were not directly related to this bridge. They were related to other projects within the Phoenicia area, largely flood benches. So these would be areas where you lower the land adjacent to a stream in order to allow water to remain within the channel. Those maps are very important. Those are going to be published, publicly. I think it's worth a lot of folks kind of taking a look at that. this resolution here is officially speaking, this is just us making a suggestion to the county. The county is the one who would ultimately be designing this bridge. This doesn't decide which bridge gets decided, but our work here is to recommend the bridge that ultimately has the most flood benefit unto itself, but perhaps more importantly, would enable those other flood projects to have maximum impact. The very short version of this is that these are part of long-standing efforts to reduce/remove the flood risk within Phoenicia. So there's a bit going on here, and I hope, I'm talking quite a bit, but I think it's worth noting that this is not sort of a formality kind of application. The text here, which is somewhat lengthy, actually has some genuinely substantive impact or potential impact. But it's a little bit out of our control because ultimately the county is the one who will build this bridge. Hopefully that made some sense. Bit of a lengthy day, as it were, but hopefully that gives a little context.
Yes, I second it again. Resolution 11625, supporting participation in a New York City flood buyout program for 38 Main Street, Phoenicia, 12464. And I move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that
That's all. Yep.
table. All right, I'm gonna make a motion, we go into an executive session. But is there anybody who wants any comments, open public comment before we do that? And then we'll come back and we'll adjourn. No? Okay.
You want us to vacate for executive session?
I mean, if you were planning on leaving anyway, but if you're not, then.
I think everyone's leaving anyway, yeah.
Mike's.
Which one? Which one?
If we're shutting the camera and the mics off, do you mind if I bring this band back on? Yeah.
Oh, we don't care about the favors. How's
You can turn it on.
We're ready.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We talked about police matters, and just Chad was updating us on an event that happened with an officer. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to close town board meeting in memory of all those who lost their lives and loved ones on 9/11/2001. Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.